Hi guys, so I was recently sent a big box of sprues by those lovely people over at Bitz. I'll leave a link down below to where you can get more information about them, as they sell loads of online sort of wargaming bits for Warhammer and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, all these lovely sprues. Over the last few weeks or month or so, I've been making a variety of things. And one of them was this, the Great Unclean one, or the Great Sprue one. And as you can see, yeah, even the base, that's made from sprues as well. And in a video about a week ago, I made this lovely vehicle. Yeah, a good old Primaris Repulsor, I think it's called. Maybe wrong, because I've got memory like a sieve. But yeah, this was entirely made of sprues. So today's video, well, I'm going for something else that's kind of, well, big and chunky. And that's this, a lovely Chaos Knight. So yeah, this is video I'm going to be showing you how I've made this thing entirely from sprues. And also, I really love him. And as you can see, yeah, magnets. Whenever I can get magnets involved, I just love magnets. Because these ones are quite strong. And yeah, take a little bit of pulling off to, well, get them off. So yeah, the Chaos Knight, that's what we're going to go through in, well, in today's video. Made from, well, just these. The sprues that we've all got lying around in boxes, gathering dust. So to start off with, as I don't have a Chaos Knight to get dimensions off, I go online, do Google, get a picture and then print it out at the right scale that I want to make it. So only a few tools really needed for this, some good old clippers, scalpel and cement glue. And that's kind of pretty it really. This one is cement glue with some sprues in, and this one is acetone with some sprues in. So good old sprue glue. And then obviously, well, loads of sprues. So I go through, cut loads up, so I've got loads of nice lovely long lengths that I can make things in. Mainly frames, obviously a good thing to make. So as always, whenever I'm making these kind of things, I always find it best to start from the bottom and then work my way up. So starting with the feet, and I say sprues are pretty awesome, pretty versatile, easy to use because they are easy to cut because obviously it's nice soft plastic. And yeah, gluing them together with the cement glue means they generally dry pretty quick, but it does give you a little bit of chance to move things around if you need to. So for the feet, as you can see, yeah, I'm basically going to cut up the sprues. Same sort of length. I mean, you could sort of spend a lot longer and measure these out perfectly. But to be honest, there's no real need for this kind of thing. Sometimes having the things look, well, not as good as it should, kind of gives it that nice still sprue feel. So these are obviously roughly cut to the same size and then glued together. Obviously the cement glue does take quite a bit longer than sort of super glue. Super glue, yeah, it can be done in a couple of seconds. Cement glue to fully dry, yeah, you're looking at least 10 minutes, 15 minutes or more, depending on obviously the room sort of temperature and that. But say it is good though, it does give you time to, well, move things around if you put them in the wrong place. And as always, yeah, when making things with sprues, it is a case of just keep building things up. So in this case, as you can see, just add in more sprues to sort of get the right sort of height that I need. And yeah, obviously he's got, these feet have 4 little bits coming off. So obviously I'm working from this one reference picture, but I have got loads of other pictures up just to sort of show the back and the sides. And then yeah, using a sprue panel. The sprue panel, guys, made from sprue goo. So if you've not heard of sprue goo before, basically you get some acetone, put it in a jar, put your sprues in, leave it for a good, leave it overnight is what I normally do, and then it dissolves and it turns into sprue goo, which is awesome stuff. I know you guys have been using this for years and years and years, as it's a great way of, well, filling in gaps. Because obviously you're using sprues to fill in gaps. But I love using it to, well, make things. And talking of making things, yeah, all these discs, these are made from sprue goo. And, well, I'll show you how I made these in just a second. Today's video is being sponsored by Knight Models. Previously launched a hugely successful DC Universe miniature game campaign on my mini factory. And they are back again with their officially licensed Game of Thrones miniatures from the Game of Thrones miniature game that they designed. And this product is being launched as a Frontier on my mini factory. And a Frontier is a little bit like a Kickstarter, but instead of being a crowdfunding service, it's a product launch service. And this Frontier will be running between the 28th of January and the 27th of February. And in that time, you can get the whole set of figures for just $99. There's a link you can click on down below to get more information about this. And there's also a painting competition you can enter. And this runs up to the 27th of March. And if you're interested in doing that, you can get a free Tyrion Lannister, who you have to paint up, and a prize pool with a total value over $3,300. And don't worry, you don't have a 3D printer, you can still enter, Only Games will be offering the physical Tyrion Lannister miniature for free during the competition. All you have to do is pay for postage. Again, check out all the details down below by clicking on the link. So back to making those lovely little discs. You'd have seen in a recent video I use this flexi mold. Yeah, a great way of making molds of, well, whatever it is you want to make a mold of. But the great thing with this is it's reusable. So once you've made the mold, you can use it and then you can cut it up, stick it back in this plastic pot, stick it in the microwave for about 15-20 seconds and it turns back into a liquid. So yeah, a nice way of making loads and loads of molds over and over again. So once they're done, put in the sprue goo and then just wait for it to dry. So these are being dried for about 4 hours, so they are still a little bit soft. But yeah, you're better off taking them out because obviously for these to sort of re-harden, the acetone in them needs to dissolve. And it does that better when the whole thing is obviously, well, in contact with air. But yeah, so flexi mold stuff, awesome. And then the discs, obviously you can make discs, well, whatever size you want. So you could make these as, well, bases, which is pretty cool. So as you can see, I've made a whole variety of sizes. So I wasn't too sure exactly what I needed. And then, yeah, they're at the bottom of the feet with some domed bits. And you would have seen me make them dome bits, again, in a previous video, just using silicone molds. So I've now got 4 sort of sprues glued together. And these are going to sort of make up the main sort of leg structures. And then using more discs to make it look like they're the joints. So once this stuff does harden, yeah, you can drill it, sand it, cut it, whatever you need to do, which is really good. And so that's why sprues, they're so versatile. And so, well, you can pretty much make anything, I reckon, out of sprues. And I'll certainly give it a go. So guys, any sort of thing you want to see me have a go at making, by all means, let me know in the comments. As, yeah, I'll have a go at making anything. I have made some previous videos about 3-4 years ago of making things with sprues. So go check them out to see what I have made in the past. The biggest thing I've made was a towel manta. Yeah, that thing was huge. So here we go. The legs are taking shape. When I was making them, at this stage, I was just hoping they are going to be strong enough to obviously take the weight of the rest of the body. I think the problem is when you do make things with sprues, because it does take, as I say, the stuff starts to dry within about 7 hours. But to be fully sort of dried and back to like a nice, hard, rigid plastic, yeah, I think you really need to leave it about 24 hours. So that's why at the time of doing this, everything wasn't fully cured. So it still felt quite soft and bendy. But yeah, love how these legs have come out. Yeah, I think they're really good. So now working on the upper bit, obviously the torso. So we're going to go with, well, the groinage area first. So I want to put magnets in this so it can swivel. There's no real need to do this. I just love using magnets. So whenever I can, yeah, I'm popping magnets everywhere. And there we go. It kind of looks like Wallace and Gromit's wrong trousers. But yeah, love it. So while that's sort of definitely going to be curing and drying, now I can start working on the the torso, or the upper torso. Again, more of those round little discs just glued together, and they can be sort of put at the front and the back. So say I'm sort of roughly following the picture or the image that I've got, but the other images I've got for the back side are a different looking Chaos Knight. So yeah, the back of this may not look how it should look really. But either way, I'm having fun making this, and it's definitely a good rough approximation of what the Chaos Knight looks like. So now it looks like he's got a barbell. Barbell? Yeah, I think that's what they are. So yeah, usual sort of thing with this. I like to make sort of shells or frameworks for everything to go on. So that's exactly what I'm doing here. Just getting the sprues. Obviously, as you can see there, some of the end or corner bits of the sprue work really well. So yeah, I always keep all the straight lines. I always keep all the corner bits. Basically, I keep everything from sprues. I've got loads and loads of Bitz boxes with, well, all kinds of sprue bits. And as I always say, yeah, I love the sprues because they are quite soft. So as you can see here, gently manipulating it to bend it. Although I did actually break a few of these because I obviously kind of bent them, well, too much, too quick. And yes, just building it up, building it up. So these bits I'm sticking on now, these are actually cut off of the sprue. Those sort of like nibbly knobbly bits that just sort of stick up. So I've got another box full of those, which is pretty cool. Yeah, so using that flexi mold again, I had to go making some shoulder pads. A bit tricky to get out, kind of split the mold, but that's fine because I only need the 2 of these, and that flexi mold well, I'm going to reuse that to mould something else. So good old sprue goo. As you can see, I put it in there, but not done a solid chunk, because obviously that would mean, well, it'll take forever to dry. And the same again with these nice big silicone moulds. Just putting a sort of a thin layer of sprue goo means it will dry a lot quicker. It's not that heavy, and well, obviously I'm not using as much sprue goo. But obviously the main reason as well for doing this, it makes it so much easier to cut these, because I don't really want to use these as sort of half spheres or domes or whatever they're called. I really want to use them as kind of panels. So yeah, keeping them nice and thin does make it a lot easier to cut. And as you can see, yeah, just cutting with a pair of scissors. And not only that, these are a bit of a blunt pair of scissors, because in general they can't cut toffee. So there we go, got a nice sort of rounded bit, even though it's obviously creased a bit there where I kind of squished it, but that's fine. I'll be able to sort of fill in any gaps later. And yeah, built up really, really nicely. So using the old Sprue Goo Mark II, so this stuff is just sprues put in the old thing of the cement glue. And obviously, as you can see, yeah, using a little brush, I can just brush this on. And it is, I say, it's an awesome way of just filling in any gaps, cracks, or bits you, well, you don't want to see and you want to hide. So yeah, it works really well. Although I have just brought some butyl acetate. And this is something that people keep mentioning in a lot of my videos, as butyl acetate is, well, basically it's the cement glue. But instead of paying £4, £5, £6, £7 for a small little bottle, which I think contains something like 40 millilitres, I bought a 5 kilogram big plastic sort of container of the stuff for £17, which is really cool. And I got that from AWESOME Liquid Solutions. Again, I'll leave a link to where you can get hold of this butyl acetate. As well, you can make as much sort of the cement glue as you want, and it works out so cheap, it's ridiculous. So you'll see me using that in a bit later. So it's almost like I've got 3 different types of sprue goo I use now. The Mark 1, which is the general one, Mark 2 in that little cement glue pot, and then another Mark 3 in, well, a nice big pot. So yeah, sprue goo definitely for the win, as this does cover up a whole multitude of, well, little errors. And as you can see here, yeah, you can make and mould all kinds of stuff with this, which really does then mean I can almost make, well, anything and everything. So again, yeah, guys, yeah, challenge me. Ask me to make something you think I can't, and then hopefully I can. Well, we'll see. So for the those sort of tubes at the top, I've got some Warhammer sprues that are round. So these are the ones that have come off the new kill team, which is pretty cool, as they are, well, I'll say, they're rounded, which is nice. So these are what I'm going to try and sort of bend and flex over the top. I should have probably cut it longer and then try to bend it, because obviously, because it's so small, rather than it bending, yeah, it snapped. But that's fine, still going to use it, because what I can do is just fill in a little crack with, well, with some sprue goo. So the good old panels, yeah, this is something I made loads of. If you look at the towel manta, yeah, obviously that was a huge big beast of a thing I made, and that had, well, a ton of panels on it. So the panels, literally get some sprue goo, stick it between 2 sheets of greaseproof paper, because literally sprue goo sticks to everything, guys. So yeah, you need to put it between something that it's not going to stick to, which is greaseproof paper, which is what I've got on the other screen now. And then I use a roller, and then I roll out the sprue goo to make it nice and thin, and then, as always, like, leave it overnight, and then you've got some sprue panels. Sometimes the panels will have a, well, like an animal texture to it. And when I say animal, I'm kind of referring more to an elephant, so an elephant skin texture. But again, if it does come out all rough and ready, just use some sprue goo like this, and you can just thin it out. So this is great, I say, for putting sprues together, because I don't want to be able to see that it is like a load of sprues together. Using the old Sprue Goo Mark II, yeah, it just fills in everything, which is really cool. Again, guys, I get really excited about Sprue Goo, just because it's you're making things out of sprues. So something we would normally leave in a box, throw in a bin, or, well, just forget about. Yeah, it can be turned into, as you can see, almost everything. So loads more panels here. I put some shin pads on this guy and the old knee ones. And yeah, he's coming on really well. And say, sprue panels, these things can be used to make all sorts. So you see me make a whole variety of like Warhammer terrain. we've got old scatter terrain. Yeah, using the panels, you can fix this to normal sprues. Say normal sprues, great for making frameworks. So you make a framework with normal sprues, stick on a sprue panel, and yeah, it works perfectly. As you can see, yeah, sometimes got a bit carried away on the size there, a little bit too big. So yeah, make a smaller one. And again, we'll just cut that out with scissors. And because this hasn't quite fully hardened, so this is a good 7-8 hours later. So this stuff is pretty much there, but it needs a bit longer. You can still sort of mold, flex, bend the stuff, which is really good. So the silicone mold, silicone molds are great because the sprue goo won't stick to silicone. So you can use it to make, well, whatever kind of mold you want. I do need to get some small scissors. So those big scissors, they're great for obviously big bits, but for small bits, yeah, not so good. And the magnet. So the magnet I've got in there, I'm not too sure which one it is, but it's definitely a strong one. So the arm, yeah, that was done sort of like the gun really. Just building it up with loads of sprues to sort of get the rough shape of what I needed. And then go over the whole thing with some Mark II sprue goo just to sort of smooth in all the areas. And there we go. Yeah, love it. I love how this dude's turned out. Obviously, not looking forward to really painting this guy because he's so big with lots of flat panels. Yeah, when it comes to painting, obviously, if you've watched my channel for a while, you'll know I love slap chop. I love using speed paints. Speed paints don't work so well on large flat areas. So I'm resorting just to going in and using, well, normal sort of paints. And then, as I always do when I use normal paints, I'm just going to chuck on a wash afterwards. So yeah, the paintwork on this, guys, look away. It's not my best. I love speed paints because they do all the work for you. And they can make any painter, like an average Joe like me, look, well, half decent. But this, yeah, this is going to look, I don't know about half decent, maybe the half messy, I'm not sure. Either way, yeah, so just using normal sort of like solid paints all over it. And then, yeah, there'll be a wash at the end. So it's not the worst paint job I've ever done. I'm sure I've done worse. But yeah, love how this thing looks and come out. I probably should have really, when I primed him in black. I have got a silver primer. Because there's so much silver on this dude, it would have made more sense to have primed it with silver. But hey ho, maybe next time. And just to mention, obviously, all the primers I get from the Colour Forge. Again, links down below, guys. Go check them out because, say, the amount of primers they do and the whole variety of colours are just awesome. And yeah, they're matte black. I mean, I've used loads of matte blacks over the years. Their matte black definitely has been the best matte black I've ever used, which is why I've been using it now for the last couple of years. So yeah, look away if you don't like washes, because I just chuck washes on. Again, if you've watched my channel for a while, you'll know when I come to paint things, I definitely like the grimdark look. I like things to look very weathered, very beaten, and yeah, not clean in any way. And there we go. There's one Chaos Knight entirely made from sprues, obviously with the exception of the magnets and the paint. But otherwise, yeah, this dude is fully sprue made. So guys, these things I'm making, I'm never going to use. So I'm thinking about sticking them on eBay. Again, let me know in the comments if you want to sort of see these or possibly buy these. And then I will stick them on eBay. And definitely let me know if there's anything else you want to see me attempt to make. Again, when I do recreate things, I can make them as good as I can. They're never going to be perfect. But considering they come from this plastic, yeah, I think I haven't done too bad a job. So guys, don't forget, let me know in the comments what you want to see me make next. Definitely check out my older videos. Say I've done a ton of older videos from about 3-4 years ago making things with sprues. So there's a ton of stuff there. But yeah, I would love to know what you want to see me make next. Okay guys, another video coming up on the screen in a minute. Give that a click, see more of what I do. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, leave comments. And a big thank you to all my patrons for helping support the channel. And they do get access to, well, some early pictures and bits and pieces of what I'm currently working on. Okay guys, bye now.